Imagine standing alone in a centuries-old alley, hearing only your footsteps echo off ancient stone walls. Now imagine returning 5 years later, and barely being able to move through a sea of selfie sticks. Some of the most breathtaking places on Earth are quietly approaching a tipping point. Over-tourism, climate change, viral social media fame. Destinations once known only to explorers are becoming global bucket list hotspots almost overnight. Today, we're exploring 7 incredible places that experts believe could be completely transformed within the next 5 years, and why you should experience. 1. Venice, Italy, the floating city. Few places feel as magical as Venice. Built across more than 100 small islands connected by canals instead of roads, Venice rose to power during the Middle Ages as one of the world's greatest maritime empires. Merchants here traded silk, spices, and precious metals between Europe and Asia long before modern globalization existed. But Venice has always had an enemy: water. The city slowly sinks about 1 to 2 millimeters every year while rising sea levels push tides higher. In recent decades, floods known as acqua alta have become more frequent. Fun fact: many Venetian buildings stand on wooden piles driven deep into mud centuries ago. And those underwater timbers have survived because oxygen can't reach them. Now add another challenge: tourism. Before pandemic restrictions, Venice welcomed roughly 25 to 30 million visitors annually, vastly outnumbering local residents. Cruise ships once towered over Renaissance architecture. Local bakeries turned into souvenir shops. And many Venetians moved away entirely. Travel hacks. Visit during November or February for fewer crowds. Wake up early, before 8 a.m., the city belongs to locals again. Skip gondolas near major squares. Smaller canals offer quieter rides. Walk slowly here. Because Venice isn't just a destination. It's a fragile miracle. 2. Kyoto, Japan. Tradition under pressure. If Venice feels like stepping into a painting, Kyoto feels like stepping into history itself. For over 1,000 years, Kyoto served as Japan's imperial capital. Samurai walked these streets. Tea ceremonies evolved into spiritual art forms here. And thousands of temples survived wars that destroyed other cities. During World War II, Kyoto was famously removed from atomic bomb target lists because of its cultural importance. Today, its wooden townhouses and lantern-lit alleys still preserve traditions rarely seen elsewhere. But social media changed everything. Images of geisha districts and bamboo forests went viral. Visitors flooded narrow neighborhoods never designed for modern crowds. Locals now struggle with privacy issues as tourists chase photos. Fun fact: many people you see dressed as geisha are actually visitors renting traditional clothing for the day. Travel hacks. Visit temples at sunrise. Many open early. Explore lesser-known neighborhoods instead of only famous shrines. Learn basic etiquette. Don't block narrow streets or photograph geisha without permission. Kyoto rewards patience. Rush through it, and you miss the soul entirely. 3. Santorini, Greece. Beauty that became too famous. You've seen it. White buildings cascading down cliffs. Blue domes glowing under Mediterranean sunlight. That iconic postcard belongs to Santorini. But few people realize the island exists because of one of history's largest volcanic eruptions. Around 1600 BCE, a massive explosion collapsed the volcano's center, creating the dramatic caldera cliffs visitors admire today. Some historians even link the disaster to myths about Atlantis. Modern Santorini became globally famous thanks to Instagram. On peak summer days, cruise ships can deliver thousands of visitors simultaneously. Tiny villages built for fishermen suddenly host global tourism. Water shortages and housing costs now challenge residents. Fun fact: some of the world's oldest wine vineyards grow here, trained low to the ground in circular shapes to survive fierce winds. Travel hacks. Stay in quieter villages like Pyrgos instead of only OIA. Visit May or October for perfect weather without chaos. Watch sunrise instead of sunset. Same beauty, almost no crowds. Because someday soon, the famous sunset might come with shoulder-to-shoulder spectators. 4. Bali, Indonesia. Paradise at a crossroads. For decades, artists and surfers whispered about Bali like a secret. Rice terraces carved into mountains. Hindu temples wrapped in incense smoke. Ceremonies filling streets with music and color. Unlike much of Indonesia, Bali remained deeply Hindu, shaping its architecture, festivals, and daily offerings placed outside homes each morning. But cheap flights and influencer culture transformed the island rapidly. Digital nomads arrived. Luxury villas replaced farmland. Traffic jams appeared where jungle once dominated. Fun fact: Balinese calendars follow complex spiritual systems, meaning festivals occur constantly throughout the year. You might stumble into a full parade simply by walking outside. Travel hacks: avoid only staying in crowded beach hubs. Visit northern waterfalls and eastern villages. Respect temple dress codes. Wear a sarong when required. Bali is still paradise, but locals increasingly ask visitors to help preserve what made it sacred in the first place. 5. Iceland. Nature going viral. Few tourism booms happened as fast as Iceland. After the 2010 volcanic eruption disrupted flights across Europe, global curiosity exploded. Then movies and television showcased glaciers, waterfalls, and black sand beaches. Suddenly, millions arrived each year. Fun fact: Iceland has more sheep than people. Its dramatic landscapes formed from constant volcanic activity, meaning the island is literally still being created. But fragile moss fields can take decades to recover from a single footprint. Popular sites now struggle with erosion. Infrastructure races to keep up. Travel hacks: rent a car and explore lesser-known fjords. Never step off marked paths. Visit winter for northern lights and fewer tourists. Here, nature feels raw and alive, and protecting it means traveling responsibly. 6. Machu Picchu, Peru. The lost city found again. Hidden high in the Andes sits one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Machu Picchu. Built by the Inca Empire in the 15th century, its precise stonework still puzzles engineers. No mortar, no modern tools. Yet earthquakes barely move its walls. When American explorer Hiram Bingham introduced the site to the wider world in 1911, it became legendary almost instantly. Today, popularity threatens preservation. Heavy foot traffic erodes ancient paths. Strict visitor quotas now control entry. Fun fact: many archaeologists believe Machu Picchu may have served as a royal retreat rather than a city. Travel hacks: book tickets months ahead. Choose early morning entry times. Consider hiking alternative Inca trails for quieter experiences. Standing there among clouds feels surreal, but access may only become more restricted. 7. Stone Town, Zanzibar. Culture on the edge of discovery. Last, and perhaps most surprising, is Stone Town. A maze of carved wooden doors, coral stone buildings, and winding alleys. Located off the East African coast, this historic trading hub blended African, Arab, Persian, and Indian cultures for centuries. Spices once defined global trade here. So did darker history. Zanzibar played a major role in Indian Ocean slave routes before abolition. Today, its architecture tells layered stories. Balconies influenced by Oman, markets echoing Swahili traditions, and music shaped by global exchange. Fun fact: one of the world's most famous rock musicians, Freddie Mercury, was born here. Tourism is growing rapidly as travelers discover East Africa beyond safari routes. Travel hacks: hire local guides. Stories bring the streets alive. Support locally owned ghost houses. Visit spice farms outside town. Right now, Stone Town still feels authentic. That may not last long. Travel isn't just about seeing places. It's about understanding them before they change forever. Every destination on this list stands at a crossroads between preservation and popularity. If you go, go respectfully. Support local communities. Slow down. And remember, Sometimes the greatest luxury in travel isn't five-star hotels. It's arriving before everyone else does. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe for more deep travel stories, and tell me in the comments, which of these places would you visit first? See you in the next adventure.